Hi, welcome back to our cook-along sessions. Hope you enjoyed doing the first two sessions and are ready to start our next one. So today we need to make sure that we're ready for cooking again. So that means making sure our hair is tied back, making sure that we're not wearing any loose clothing that's going to drop or dip into any of our foods. We've washed our hands really well. We've taken off any jewellery and watches and bracelets, and we've made sure we've got all the equipment that we need ready. Now remember, cooking is for everyone, and it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're 6, whether you're 16, or whether you're 66. Everyone can learn new skills in the kitchen or brush up on their existing skills to ensure that they are staying safe and help them reduce down their food waste. So in today's session, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our portions. So hopefully you've been doing some activities with regards to what a portion size is, and you'll remember your fistfuls and cupfuls and palmfuls. And today we're going to be doing some smoothie making. Okay, so now that we're all ready to cook today, we are going to make a really simple smoothie to begin with. So this, you need very minimal amount of equipment to do. So we need a spoon to mix our ingredients together, a measuring jug, and then something to drink out of. So that can just be a normal cup or glass, or you can use a bottle like this, so then you can put the lid on it, and then you can always take it out with you when you're out and about or onto a picnic. So for our first smoothie, what we're going to use is we're going to use a number of different fruit juices. So here I've got raspberry and cranberry. I've got an apple and raspberry one. I've got a plain orange juice. I've got blueberry juice. And then I've also got a plain apple juice. Now the idea behind these is that we're not going to use all of them. We're going to choose 3 of them to use, or just 2. And we're going to be experimenting with mixing different flavours together. I've made sure that all my fruit juices are pure fruit juices and that they've got no added sugar. So I can tell that by the fact that my labels are green at the bottom there. If you've got any reds, then obviously they're going to be high, and we want to make sure that we are reducing down that sugar wherever we need to. So it counts as one of our 5 a day, one of these smoothies, but we can only have up to 150 millilitres per day. So you can't have lots and lots of these drinks and then think that is my 5 a day. You can only have 1, and then that counts once. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. The idea with this is that you're going to, if you're using 2 flavours together, you want about 100 millilitres of one and 50 millilitres of another. If you're using 3, you can split that as 50 millilitres 3 times, or you could do a pure half and half split where you're using 75 millilitres of each flavour. I wouldn't suggest you use any more than 3 flavours. And obviously if you're only going to use 1, then that's just a carton of drink, and that's fine up to, again, 150 millilitres. So this is where you can start playing around with your flavours, and you can start thinking about what you're going to blend together. So I am going to blend my apple and raspberry with some blueberry. Okay. Now what I might do is I might add a 3rd one in, and I might add in my raspberry and cranberry. So then it's getting that nice fruity berry flavour with that apple underneath. I could swap out the apple and raspberry with just a plain apple juice. That would work because the raspberry is in with cranberry. So there might be a flavoured juice that you don't particularly like as much as others, and that you can mix in and that you might like more when it's mixed in with other flavours. Or you might have a little bit of one flavour left in the bottom of the carton, but not enough for a whole drink. So you can mix it with another one. So we're also reducing down how much waste we're generating from what we've got. So all we're going to do is take our jug and we're going to pour in 50 millilitres. So that's not a lot when you look at it. And then I'm going to pour in another 50 millilitres of this one. The idea with weighing everything out or measuring everything out means that if you come up with a flavour combination that you really like, you can reproduce that drink again and again because you've got the quantities there. I'm just going to add in my apple to that. There we go. And then I'm just going to give it a mix around. And then that is our drink. So if I pour that out, you will see how much 150 millilitres is. It's not a lot, okay? So when you're thinking about it being a lot, actually it's about the size of one of those mini fruit shoot bottles. It's not a lot at all, but that is one of your 5 a day. And so you can get creative with your portion potions by mixing up different fruit juices together. Okay, so next we are going to look at making a fruit smoothie directly from fresh ingredients. Okay, so to make a fresh fruit smoothie, obviously this is going to be better because you're using less ingredients. So we think about our processes of food and what has to go into the things that we buy ready-made from shops, as opposed to the things we buy fresh that are one ingredient. So it's much better to make your own if you can. So you're going to need a blender for this because we're going to need to blend all the fruit all together. You're going to need some knives to cut your fruit up, and then obviously a cup and maybe a spoon to mix that together and to be able to drink it from. So again, you want to make sure that you've got a small bowl or something to hand to put all your food waste in, so that then you can make sure that you dispose of that correctly in your correct bin at home or even in your compost. So we've got a small bowl that I'll be putting all of my waste into. So remember our portion sizes. One of our fruit and vegetables a day portion size is a fistful. So I've got here a peach, so that's one of my 5 a day. I've got some raspberries, I've got some strawberries, I've got a mango, and I've got a banana. Now, again, like our fruit juices, I might not use all these flavours together, but it could be that you start off with flavours that you like, that you know go well together, so strawberries and raspberries, and then you add one other flavour in, like a banana, and then you start experimenting with other fruits and combinations of those together. Now, what we are going to add to this is we're going to add either some fat-free yogurt, and that will just give it a thicker smoothie mix, or if you want a thinner version, then you can add some milk. Now, I'm using red top milk, which is fully skimmed, so it has the littlest amount of fat in there that we don't actually need that extra. If you're using fruits that are less sugary, then you might decide that you want to add a little tiny squirt of honey into there just to give it a little bit of sweetness. Okay, so we are going to practice all of our cuts and chopping that we learned last time. Now, last time I didn't show you the fork hold, so I'm going to show you that now, and this is particularly good if there are younger people out there who are hoping to cook and getting involved with cooking. So all you need for your fork hold as an extra piece of equipment is obviously a fork. This is also really good if you find it really difficult to grip things. So if you're not so good on your grip for whatever reason, you can use a fork hold. And it's literally like using a knife and fork to cut your dinner. So instead of using your claw hold, you're going to hold it with a fork, and then we can cut away with our knife. And then we can just move our fork down as we need to. So it's not got to be very close, like when you're cutting your dinner. You can hold it further away and move down. Now, it doesn't matter too much how you cut all your fruit up, because obviously we're going to blend it together. So it could be that once I've taken my top off here, I'm just going to roughly cut it in half, and then I'm going to roll that over onto its flat side, and then I'm going to cut it again. So that fork just helps stop it moving around, and then just allows us to chop it down. So I'm just going to, I don't think I'm going to put my last strawberry in there, because I think that's enough strawberry. Okay, so I'm going to move that into my blender jug, and then I'm going to do my raspberries. Now, obviously they've been washed. I don't need to cut them up. They're already in bite-sized chunks as they are. So I'm just going to select as many as I want, and then I'm going to pop those into my blender as well. There we go. So in there at the moment, I've got my strawberries and I've got my raspberries. And then I'm just going to add a banana, I think, to this one. Let's keep it nice and simple. So I'm just going to peel that and put all that in my waste bowl. And I can get rid of that later. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-show you our claw. So remember, we can hold it like this if we're really, really confident. If we're not, then we can tuck our fingers under and kind of use our knuckles so that the knife doesn't cut into our hands. So again, we're not looking at little slices. We can chop our banana up into bigger chunks to put into our blender. So just like that. Just going to pop those in. So I've got my strawberries, my raspberries, my banana. Now what I want to do is I want to make a thick shake today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of 0% fat-free Greek yogurt. So just take the top off. Okay, so this counts as part of your dairy, so remember your portion sizes on this. Just give that a little stir. So I'm just going to put a couple of spoons in like that. Okie doke. So then all I need to do is pop that onto my blender and give that a whiz around. Okay, so I've blended that together and you can see we've got a lovely blend there. Now obviously our raspberries and our strawberries have got seeds in them. So if you've got anyone at home that doesn't like the texture with the seeds in or finds it tricky with teeth, then you can always sieve those out. And then we're just going to pour it in there. So you can kind of see the texture of that. It's like a ribbony texture, which means it's a bit thicker. If I'd have added milk to that, it would be a lot thinner, obviously. So it's entirely up to your personal preference. And again, experiment with different flavours and different textures, like we were doing in our second session. So there we go. We've got a lovely homemade fruit smoothie. Perfect for the summer. So thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed that activity today. I look forward to seeing you next time.